Hey folks, it's Eric from Support Adventure, and in this video I'm going to tell you about 3 of my favorite countries that work really well as initial and plug-and-play destinations for a digital nomad to travel to and work from. So let's go. Basically, as a digital nomad, you want as little hassle as possible to find a nice place to work from. You want friendly people, a good vibe around you, and you want you want some potential to socialize and either meet other foreigners or interact with the locals. And these 3 countries that I'm going to tell you about, I feel they're very friendly in nature and they're very accessible for even first-time digital nomads. If you have a remote job and you want to relocate to one of these countries, you'll have a nice time and you'll find people quite accommodating. The locals will be very friendly and able to give you a very easy ride in getting there, getting up and running, and enjoying their countries. So the first one on the list, number 1, Thailand. And you can see the smile that comes on my face when I mention Thailand, because it's just a place where I've even associated the smell of the air when you land on the airplane. The first gust of Thailand and the smells and the feeling and the vibe to be like I'm in a place that is basically my paradise. I mean, life there isn't perfect, but they definitely are very accommodating to tourists. It's a major driver of their economy, and a lot of people go there for longer stays and basically just fall in love with the place and the easy sort of way of life there, the exotic culture, the Asian culture of Thailand, and of course the weather. So it's my favorite destination for the winter in Europe. Normally I'm based in Europe, in a country I'll tell you about in a minute. But when I go to Thailand, it's just like complete relaxation because the culture is all about relaxing and enjoying and getting in touch with yourself. And, the food is great. Oh my God, the food is great. You can get a massage for almost no money. The cities are charming. The culture has this feeling of like you can relate with it because it's very warm. The people are very warm, but it's also at the same time very exotic and Asian, but in a way that's accessible. It's accessible. Bangkok is one of the world's most visited cities, if you look at the last 10 years, for example. And it's a place where you can just go and know that as a foreigner, you're going to be taken care of. And it's cheap in a lot of cases. Maybe not as cheap as some other destinations, but if you know how to live there, if you're eating the local food and staying in one of the cheaper locations like Chiang Mai is a beautiful city that you can stay in, then Thailand is probably a great place to start your journey as a digital nomad. On the negative side, I would say that the language barrier makes it hard to connect with the locals, definitely. And basically, the other thing is the time zone. If you're working remotely for Europe, it can be very tedious. If you are working remotely for the Americas, like US or Canada, it can be extremely tedious because from US and Canada, it's 12 to 15 hours time difference ahead. And from Europe, it's 6 or 7 hours time difference. So basically, if you're going to work on a creative project and just sort of travel and you're doing your own work on your own schedule, Thailand's a great place because you'll get the focus, you'll get the sort of environment to sort of go into your creative universe and drive some results. For example, working on the marketing for my business was really good there, working on the systems and stuff like that. But if you have like clients and people to talk to all the time who are in Europe or North America, you're going to have some late evenings and it's not going to be the funnest thing to work from Thailand. So that's something to think about. But everything else is great. Also, I'll warn you about Chiang Mai and Bangkok during the burning season in unfortunately, some of the best months to be away from Europe and North America, January, February, March. It's really bad, the air quality there. But if you go in the south to the islands like Koh Phangan and Koh Samui in those months, it's beautiful. And I really enjoyed my time last year in 2020. I got stuck in paradise on the island of Koh Phangan for 3 months, and I lived there while everything else got shut down. And it was a great life, and I loved my life there. So peaceful, interesting, but infrastructure was good enough so that I could work from my laptop, from paradise, from the beach. Thailand is, I think, my favorite country to work as a digital nomad. Let's transport ourselves next to Europe. The number 2 country is Serbia. And you might wonder, Serbia, what's that? Is that Siberia? No, it's not. Siberia is actually a part of Russia that's in Central Asia, basically, makes the northern part of Asia. That's Siberia. Serbia is a separate country in Southeast Europe. So, close to Greece. So between Greece and Hungary, there's a region called the Balkans, basically, and that's where Serbia is. It's a Slavic culture, so it speaks a similar language to Poland and Russia, and it's the same as Serbo-Croatian, Montenegrin. All those countries speak the same language, but it's now 7 countries, what used to be Yugoslavia, and the majestic capital of what's now 6 or 7 countries, debatably, is a city called Belgrade, where I'm sitting right now. And this city captured my heart many years ago because of the friendliness of the people primarily, and the ease of life, and this sort of blend of, just this Mediterranean lifestyle with a sort of Central European city that sort of works with everything of Eastern Europe also factoring in strongly. So it's really the melting pot of all of Europe. It's like if you took all of Europe and mixed it all into one culture, that culture would be the city of Belgrade. And, all the influences of the Mediterranean culture of Greek and Turkish, the Central European of, Austrian, Hungarian, Italian, influences of American culture, Russian culture, Latin culture, everything is kind of here in the Serbian culture, and people speak English really well in Serbia, and you don't really need to know the local language to have a fulfilling life here interacting with locals, because the locals speak English that well. And so it's a place with a very affordable cost of living. You can be comfortable starting at, I guess, about $1,000 per month here, living in Belgrade. Even cheaper if you go outside the capital in a smaller city. I don't know, there's lots of them. I'd recommend the ones north of here, like Novi Sad and Subotica, as nice little quaint places where you can have like a really peaceful life. But if you want the hustle and bustle of Serbia, come to Belgrade and live in the center, the neighborhoods around the center, and basically you will love your life because it's vibrant. There's life happening all around you. I prefer April until October because it's the warm times, but some people even like it here in the winter. People here are very friendly. The food is very good. Everything's walkable, super accessible in the city center, and you'll just really love your life if you come and try Belgrade. And lots of people are really surprised how much they like this city and this country and the people here. So you might as well try it. And Serbia became my home, actually. And, when I lived in Canada is now just a distant memory, and I wouldn't ever enjoy living in Toronto again as much as I live in Belgrade as things are now. So let's go to the third best plug and play destination for digital nomads, remote workers, and similar sorts of people looking for similar lifestyles. That is Mexico. So Mexico is a great place because being part of North America or Central America, depends where you go, it's sort of shifting from one to the other. You're close to the US, and you're basically in the same time zones as there. Whereas if you were in Europe, you're 6 hours ahead. If you're working with a remote job, it's possible. But in Mexico, you're really on Central or Eastern time for the US, and it's possible just to actually live a life which is very similar to the one that you lived if you lived in the US and just be in Mexico. Like it's basically like not that much of a culture shock, except for some infrastructure things and the fact that all the people are Mexican as opposed to just some of them. So the main thing in Mexico is it's really easy. They're used to foreigners, gringos like me going there. And I flew to Mexico and I immediately felt at home because it's so easy to just like make your life function there because you're used to everything. Everything works the same. The supermarkets are pretty much the same as in America. Some stuff like buying a SIM card could be more complicated, but you go to like the convenience store, 7-Eleven or whatever, and they have them there. Oxo, I think, was the one where I bought mine. And everything just sort of cognates, and there's a expat community that, in most cases is very easy to meet people there. And whatever your vibe is, I spend most of my time in the two places of on the Quintana Roo area on the Caribbean coast in Playa del Carmen and Tulum. Playa del Carmen was more of like a generic sort of gringo vibe, and Tulum was more of like a sort of hippie vibe, I suppose. Both of them had their pluses and minuses, and I'd say if you want to try Mexico for the first time, just fly to Playa del Carmen through Cancun Airport and rent an Airbnb and start living your new Mexican life. And it's a lot of fun. And the weather is really nice year round in that place. I guess it gets too hot in the summer, but when I was there, the coldest morning was like 17 degrees. So it was basically flip flop weather in November, December, January. So lots of other different places in Mexico are also really good. And if you want a more authentic cultural experience of Mexico, you should go to the other places. But if you're looking for a place where it's plug and play, digital nomad, where there's lots of other like-minded people there, then Playa del Carmen is definitely the first place to start, and Tulum is more of a premium, upmarket, hippie destination, let's say. So Spanish, the local language, is very easy to learn as a native English speaker. It's one of the closest languages you can learn, with lots of vocabulary that you'll just be able to understand immediately. And it's pretty easy to just start speaking Spanish, and the people are super supportive and accommodating if you decide to learn Spanish and practice it on them. So it's a great destination, super accessible to North America. And I think with these three locations, you've got places that you can go all around the world for different cultural experiences, because there are three very different cultural experiences: Asia, Europe, and Latin America. I'd say, yeah, Latin America and Europe are similar, but even like Serbia and Mexico are vastly different places. And Thailand is overall just a distant, much more foreign place that's also very plug and play for people like you to go to one of those islands like Samui, Phangan, or a city like Chiang Mai. So enjoy the world. And these are places where you're going to feel welcome, and it's going to be easy to land as a digital nomad and get work done. So thanks a lot. My name is Eric. This is Support Adventure. If you're an IT support technician, we can help you support your adventure with a job. So find out more about that on the website. We also sometimes have experience-free positions that you don't require experience for, like a dispatcher. So more info on our site. Thanks a lot, guys. Subscribe to our channel for more travel, digital nomad, remote working lifestyle ideas and videos about this sort of stuff. And thanks for watching. Catch you guys later.